I have read and I have heard a collection of non-fiction stories, various kinds of stories. They made me laugh and they made me cry, inspired or frightened me. These were their stories, and as I finished, I continued with my own life and concerns. Occasionally I learned a lesson, but from time to time I avoided that information, assuming I would never need them. On a specific day a few years later, years that had been of a very important significance, I was sitting in front of my computer to write my own story in order to share it with the world. And I found it very difficult to get started considering the dozens of stories contained within a single story. I stared at the empty screen trying to collect, choose, or arrange my thoughts in an exceptional order. My story is not a story as we are used to hear from acquaintances or friends. One might read it in a book, or perhaps see it when watching a movie. It is not about any extraordinary people who, from nobody, became somebody. It is not about celebrities, or the early and present life of billionaires, scientific or medical achievements, nor, as it may be, the biography of a very important politician, singer, actor, or writer. It's neither a romantic or love story. No, it will not satisfy those expectations. Put the book aside and imagine for a moment. You are sitting on a bench in a very magnificent park, and you have all the time that you need. A middle-aged woman approaches and sits next to you. She's about 40 years old and she comes from a country beneath the Balkans in Europe. Have you ever heard about it? Well, it doesn't matter. We are all the same. Above all, we are all humans. She, me, doesn't know who you are or where you come from either. She's just willing to sit there near you. She also has all the time that she needs to tell you her story, to tell you her deepest feelings. She is willing to share it with you, not because she needs to, but because you might need it. Everybody needs it, but not everyone is aware. We all believe that we know everything and can define our comfort zone. Our ego wants to believe that too. First, she has some questions for you. Are you really ready to believe her? Are you ready to believe that one book can change your entire life? If not, you are free to enjoy the view of the park and the freshness of the air and your life just the way it is. If yes, then she is ready to open herself up as if a body lying openly on a surgery table. One to examine carefully and profoundly each and every single cell, visible as they are flowing to create the most treasured thing we have, called life. If you are willing to believe her stories, if you are really willing to believe, you are in the right place, at the right time. Whatever problems you might have, even if you are diagnosed with a terrible deadly disease, or you are having another important issue that is making your life miserable, or you are struggling with your own self, believe me, they are not true. I will prove it you with numerous examples. Just be patient and willing to read and to accept, to try and to change. Promise to me and to yourself, and always remember when the caterpillar thought her life was over, she became a butterfly. Part 1. The Time Before. Chapter 1. Prologue. I lived the story of my life incorrectly. 3 years ago, I had a so-called an ordinary life. I had just returned from a maternity leave of 12 months due to my younger son's birth. I dedicated those months only to my sons, giving my full attention and love to them. They were the best thing that had happened in my life. I can remember the moment I held each of them for the first time, for it was my greatest achievement, my only divine touch. I was blessed with 2 incredible boys. Trying to be a perfect mother made me go through a lot of misfortunes during that time. I felt a lack of sleep and faced stressful situations. With my newborn and the older one, as the latter tried to adapt to his new lifestyle as a first grader, I had a few accidents. I broke my arm, so it was very hard for me to breastfeed my baby. I had a surgery for appendicitis, and the removal led me to lose the breast milk. I had a lot of troubles to teach my baby to bottle feed. I also had ingrown toenail and terrible pain. I was wearing sandals during the winter season. I had migraine attacks and was overweight, and the list can go on and on. Additionally, I couldn't adjust myself to the new situation. I had to share my love with 2 little boys now, but each one of them was asking for my full attention. I would rather cry than try to find a way out to cover all their needs. I felt sorry for the baby. I also would feel sorry for the older one. I thought I was not being enough. During that time, I was working as an English teacher in a secondary school. It was the job of my dreams, and in the meantime, I was also working on my master thesis for ELT. This was a culmination of its kind, with too many things to do and limited time and energy. Also, being married to a wonderful person made my life a complete journey. I had his support and help. But yet, I wasn't aware of my completion and didn't really feel that it was enough. I always wanted more and more, trying to reach perfection. I spent a lot of my time working at school, doing homework, doing my research, doing the housework, cooking, taking care of my children, and forcing myself to do more and to become better and better. I wasn't a very positive person. I would rather have looked at the dark side of things going on around me. So sometimes I had nervous breakdowns, and I felt stressed and quite tired. I also remember saying to my husband, "It's enough, I can't handle it anymore. I wish I could have a disease so I could get rid of this life and this torture." He was always kind and patient with me. He could calm me down by showing me all the blessings that I had. It is the journey that took me along to discover the secret of who I really was. Indeed, it was an awful experience, an apocalypse of its kind, my own death. Therefore, today I am really happy that all this really happened to me. And I am so grateful that it was me who was chosen for this experience. Sounds creepy, right?